Here's a highlight from a recent episode of Booked on Rock. Michael Pastore, author of the Mighty Van Halen One Fan's Journey. You talk about Mikey P, who was wearing a T-shirt, a Van Halen T-shirt. I guess let's start there. I would go back to 1982 when you...
Yeah, it was. So I had just entered junior high school, 7th grade. We didn't have middle school back then. And, I reached out to him. He didn't get back to me. And I'm hoping that if he hears this, he would, because I do want to get him a copy of the book. Because I haven't seen him since high school. And in high school, I even mentioned that in high school, we really didn't hang around that much. It was more in maybe 7th grade and a little bit in 8th grade. But yeah, I think it was science class in 7th grade. And he's sitting in the classroom. I describe him as like the coolest looking kid. I know you read the book, and it's a quick read. I should say that, but there's a lot of information in it. And one of the things I describe with this particular scene is, he looked like a high school student, because as a 7th grade student in this particular school, I was with the high school kids. So I'm walking around the hallways as like an 11, 12-year-old with these 17-year-olds. And they look so heroic to me, the feathered hair, the bandanas hanging out, the combs hanging out of the back of their pockets, the jeans. And I thought, wow, this kid looks like a miniature version of one of those kids, And he had this, it must have been Women and Children First, because it was the iconic picture of Dave with the reaching his arm out, and Michael Anthony, I describe it as, was it a cigarette? Was it marijuana, that he's holding between his fingers? It was, I believe, that T-shirt, and Dave is doing a split in midair on the back of the T-shirt, and I was like, wow, what is this? It looks so cool. Van Halen. And I think the title of the chapter is basically the quote that he gave me. And I asked him, who's Van Halen? He said, the greatest band that ever lived. And I never forgot it. Just the way he said it with such confidence.